Does it matter to the market? Surely, whatever happened, Germany's Europe strategy wouldn't have changed much, right?
No, I think you're quite right. In terms of the time it's taking to forge a coalition, it's taken us quite a while, I suppose, almost 3 weeks to get to this point where the CDU under Chancellor Merkel and the left of centre SPD have finally agreed to begin formal negotiations, and they are hopeful that they will form a government before the end of the year. But as you say, whether it would be a grand coalition between the centre-left and the centre-right, or a continuation of the former arrangement with the CDU and the FDP, we don't think that would signal much in the way of a major shift in German European policy. One could argue that under both instances you would still need market pressure to be brought to bear in order for Germany to agree to more Europe. In fact, you could argue that German politicians need the pretext of market tensions, of market pressure, in order to sell the concept of liability sharing to their electorate.
Can you imagine them agreeing to the principle of more Europe? I mean, what would be the catalyst for that?
Well, you would need additional pressure to be brought upon the market, as I say. We've long maintained that it's not a question of will the crisis get worse before it gets better, but it must get worse before it gets better, because it's only when these tensions increase that politicians across core Europe feel sufficiently incentivized to move further towards liability sharing. As we have seen, tensions have abated significantly since the middle of last year, when Draghi pledged to do whatever it takes. He helped price out systemic risk in Europe. Since then, we've had a very positive global liquidity backdrop, with central banks around the world pumping in stimulus, which has further ensured that tensions have remained absent from the European market. So until such tensions return, I think that further progress towards liability sharing will prove elusive.
What do you like right now? What are you buying in the periphery?
Well, we have one trade currently on our books, which is long 10-year Spain versus France. Curiously, it's given up some ground today in the wake of the US temporary extension of the debt ceiling and government funding. Going forward, though, we think that the global liquidity outlook remains very much constructive, because the US agreement on the budget on the debt ceiling front is certainly simply just kicking the can down the road. The drag, the halter this represents on growth in terms of dampening consumer and business confidence, as long as this fiscal uncertainty remains unresolved. That should continue. The Fed is unlikely to begin tapering this year. We don't think they'll begin tapering until March next year at the very earliest, which should be positive for risk in general and positive for peripherals. And hopefully this Spanish spread versus France will perform near term.